false evidence number 4, I think we already touched on it a little bit. Mortgage interest rates will hit 7 to 8% as the Fed Reserve will raise the rates several more times before the year's over. And then it's doom and gloom, then people will panic, then the world's coming to an end. That's a false evidence number 4. So what are your thoughts on that?
Um, a lot of these, it's funny, a lot of these topics that we've covered, they do overlap. And I think fear is it's a really big driver of behavior. And if you have not exercised and built up that muscle to counter the effects of whatever fearful thoughts creep into your mind, I think it really, if you cannot do that, then you just don't do anything. And, I said this before on your show, is if you do nothing, you get nothing. If you take a risk, you get a reward. You don't get a reward without taking on some level of risk, calculated risk, and looking at historical data, and applying that to the present day situation. And, we've covered this already, but just to reiterate that, there is more housing needs and growing daily. They just are. And you can, find that data online, but the demand for housing and the need for housing, even just the need for housing it's growing, it's exponential. And we just don't have enough supply because we've been underbuilt for the last 13, 14 years. And now we've got builder sentiment that started declining in May and June. So yes, they are continuing on finishing what they started, but what they have been permitting, they are not starting because their sales are based off of affordability. And as affordability it becomes more out of reach with the upward pressure on the interest rates, then the builders aren't going to keep building, right? If they have a lesser pool of buyers, so they're going to cool off on the building of single families. And then guess what happens? It creates a wider gap, a bigger hole in the housing needs. So it just makes sense when you understand that, when you understand those data points, it doesn't matter to me. It does not matter to me what the interest rates are. We had interest in 2019, we had interest rates at 6.5%, right? That's no different. If we go to 7 and 8% by the end of the year, and let's just say, like Dave Steck, I know he's like, where we really need to be from an interest rate standpoint to really curb inflation is 14%. Is that possible? Anything is possible. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what the Fed's thinking. I just know that their focus is not on growth. Their focus is on fighting inflation, right? So if you fight inflation, then you compromise the other side. So I wish they had more of a balanced perspective, but they don't at this moment. So that's unfortunate. So in the meantime, we have to figure out what we need to do as investors.
Absolutely, Maureen. Actually, so my final takeaway before we conclude this presentation is that you're right. For risk investors, I highly encourage you to take action now, create the asset base right now, because given what you just said, that the builders are paused building, they're not going to build that many more homes because of the demand has subsided, and then the sellers are not selling because they lock in at their 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 4% or less, and they have no motivation or incentives to sell their home at a 2.5% mortgage to move into a upgrade a home at 6% mortgage, so that they increase their mortgage payment by more than 50%. It just does not make sense at all levels. So sellers are sitting at their homes. We're seeing the trend. So I would not be surprised if sometime very soon we can have an epic, massive shortage of supply of inventory of homes once again. and the demand will increase, and we can have another, should I say, post-pandemic mini real estate boom coming down the road. Uh, how you can capture this potential boom for risk investors? Take action, buy now. Okay, get the asset in place, and just invest, buy now instead of buy real estate now instead of wait to buy real estate. Okay. Anyway, so
Right. Don't wait to buy real estate, buy real estate and wait. That is tried and true. And lastly, I would say this, Seewing, is that look, first-time home buyers or just people looking to buy a home to live in, they're chasing the American dream. That is the American dream, is to own your own home. The investor's dream is to chase the yield, right? And so chasing the dream, their affordability, where affordability is right now for them, is going to be on hold for that primary or owner occupant. But for the investor who's chasing the yield, yeah, you may have interest rates that are rising, but prices are softening because people like us that buy distressed assets, we can buy them at a discount now, and we pass that savings along to them, to the tune of where we were selling properties with a rate of return of 6%, we're now at 9% and climbing. So just pay attention. It's almost like the teeter-totter of the elevator. As one goes up, another one goes down. As one goes up, another one goes down. And so as interest rates rise, our prices soften, and the spread in there for the investor benefits them.
Yep. Absolutely, Marine. Very, very well put. Very well said. You know how to articulate things down to the core. Easy to explain. It's a KISS. You're using the KISS method. KISS. KISS. Keep it simple. So to recap, the core of today's presentation is fear. Is not a technical definition of fear. Yeah, people are scared to take action. That there's a human element, emotion aspect of it, the fear. But the way we go through to explain our fear is the 1, 2, 3, 4. False fear means false evidence appearing real. We have just given you 4 concepts of some of the things that are information that are fed upon the investment public, the 4 aspects, which is not real, is false evidence. We just went over that, but they appear to be real. They are not real. So when an investor can digest the message that you and I just put out for the past 25 minutes, it's all false evidence. They're not real. If you believe this is all false evidence, that you can overcome, you can reset your mind thinking, wow, this means I'm confident that I'm providing with all the good reasons to take action, to buy investment property, and to create wealth for my family. So it's all about putting you and I, or putting accurate information, third-party substantiation, real data points, real trends, and not the doom and gloom YouTube video out there, people using clickbait, using the C word, the crash word, to get clickbait views and subscribers in the YouTube channel world. So we are true, in you and I, we practice what we preach. We have a core message. We are transparent. We've been doing it for a long time. And so we bring the real, authentic, verifiable, true data point, and without all those crazy, inaccurate, misleading conditioning narrative put on by the mass media.
Yeah, and then Seewing, I'd like to just kind of end with this on my end, is just posing a question to anyone that's listening. It's like, is in your mind, ask yourself, is it possible that there are wonderful opportunities to invest in this type of environment? Does the possibility exist of that, of an opportunity to create wealth in the type of environment that we are working in now. And if you do understand, and if you do say yes, because that's the right answer, that it is possible, there, anything is possible, right? You just have to have the knowledge, the resources, the connections to help you, and educational resources to help you cut through all of that stuff. Because the more that you click on a negative headline, the algorithm feeds you the same exact information because they know that that's what your mind likes. If you start clicking on the more positive stuff, then you get where, and then the opportunities, you see more opportunities versus, you know, this is, everything is going down and it's going to be horrible and it's going to be a Great Depression and we're going to see this is going to be the worst depression since 1929. That is what people, some people are saying that out there, right? It really is. So you just have to decide in your mind, am I going to listen to more of this on the negative channel, or am I going to program my mind with more of positive, and then find the cut through the noise and find the right opportunity for you at this moment to help you achieve your financial goals. That's where I'm going to end right there.
Oh, well, there's nothing more needs to be said. And well, anyway, Maureen McCann, your mmccann at spartaninvest.com is your email. Your website is spartaninvest.com. It's that simple. So, yep, you practice what you preach, likewise here, myself. So thank you so much for your another great motivational, inspiring message. You know, you and I are truly care for each and every one of our investors. We want to say the right things that will serve the best interests of our investor. So, what more can you ask for, right? So, thank you so much. This is Seewing.
Dream team, me and you, Seewing.
Yep. Thank you so much for attending. Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.